Well, good afternoon. I have here a copy of the Constitution for the United States of America and a copy of the Constitution for New York State. They're hanging by a thread, figuratively, and in this case, literally. So how much do you know about the federal Constitution? What could we look forward to if the federal Constitution was being followed? Think on this. We would no longer be meddling in the internal affairs of other countries. We would be neutral in our alliances, trading with all and conducting ourselves with honor and dignity. There would be no undeclared wars and no war on terror at home. Our government would not be bailing out any private company or foreign nation with public funds. All unconstitutional debt would be null and void. Gold and silver would be the standard of our currency. There would be no inflation. We would have full employment. We would all have the right to keep and bear arms, and each state would have a well-regulated, well-trained, and well-disciplined militia. There would be no direct, unapportioned taxes on individual labor.
That's right.
Our rights to privacy would be honored. Our immigration laws would be enforced. We would never entertain the idea of a president with the potential of dual loyalties because his father was a citizen of a foreign country. We would not enter into any contracts, treaties, or alliances that would compromise the sovereignty of America. We would not permit our votes to be counted in secret, which is what happens when machines count votes. Most importantly, the people would be able to hold the government accountable to the Constitution. Government officials would listen and respond to the people's First Amendment petitions for redress of grievances regarding any violation of the Constitution before that violation could injure our nation, our economy, or our people. Life as we know it would surely be different. Unbeknownst to most Americans, citizen elections were held last October in each state of the Union. 116 men and women, people like you and I, were elected as delegates to Continental Congress 2009. And in November, for 11 consecutive days and nights, they met at the Pheasant Run Conference Center in St. Charles, Illinois. They set aside their lives because of their concern about what was happening to America to discuss violations of the federal Constitution and recommend a course of action for the free people of America to take. I have here a copy of the Articles of Freedom, the works of the Continental Congress 2009. Copies are available for download at articlesoffreedom.us. The articles address 14 violations and include instructions to the federal government and to the state legislatures designed to peaceably restore the Constitution. Article 1 seeks to stop the unconstitutional erosion of our sovereignty. Both Congress and the state legislatures are instructed to reaffirm the fundamental principles of popular, state, and national sovereignty, and to withdraw all agreements with any organization, country, that diminish our freestanding republic. Congress is also instructed to repeal laws contrary to its enumerated powers. Article 2 seeks to stop the passage of unconstitutional laws. Both Congress and the state legislatures are instructed to establish committees to review each bill to ensure its constitutionality before those bills are sent to the governors and to the president for signature or for approval. Think how much of our hardships today could have been avoided by a simple step such as this. Where, for instance, have we ever given the federal government the authority to give or lend public money or credit to private entities for a decidedly or definitively private purpose? It's simply not there. Article 3 seeks to stop the unconstitutional refusal of all branches of our government to respond to First Amendment petitions for redress of grievances. Congress is instructed to ensure compliance with the constitutional requirement that all public officials must hear and respond to First Amendment petitions which seek to hold those officials accountable to the Constitution and to prohibit judges from dismissing such petitions for lack of standing, which is a common practice today. State legislatures are instructed to refuse federal funding until these federal instructions are complied with. Article 4 seeks to restore constitutional homeland security, well-regulated state militias, and the right of every citizen to keep and bear arms. Congress is instructed to abolish the Department of Homeland Security. Both Congress and the state legislatures are instructed to make statutes for organizing, arming, disciplining, and returning responsibility for domestic security to state militias, and to repeal statutes that tax, register, or regulate firearms and ammunition. Article 5 seeks to stop the unconstitutional invasion of personal privacy. Congress is instructed to prohibit the collection of information about our citizens of a non-criminal nature and to repeal statutes that are repugnant to the privacy clauses of the Constitution. These include the USA Patriot Act and those that call for the collection of fingerprints, blood, and DNA upon birth. State legislatures are instructed to retract Fusion Center intelligence reports not properly cited and sourced, and to reject the Patriot Act, repeal statutes that authorize red light cameras and other devices that secretly gather information, and to destroy biometric data not related to a felony investigation. Article 6 seeks to stop the unconstitutional taking of private property. Congress is instructed to nullify laws relating to the confiscation of private property for private use, and to deny funds to any state that fails to do the same. State legislatures are instructed to make statutes that prohibit the confiscation of private property for private use, and that prohibit local government, and to prohibit local government from taxing private, non-commercial, real property. Article 7 seeks to stop the unconstitutional use of juries. Both Congress and the state legislatures are instructed to require judges to apprise plaintiffs and defendants of their right to a Seventh Amendment common law jury, and to apprise jurors of their right to jury nullification, and of the judge's conflict of interest in cases where the government is a party. Both Congress and the state legislatures are instructed to provide for trials based on presentments by citizens' common law grand juries, and to ensure all legal arguments are heard in front of a jury. Article 8 seeks to stop unconstitutional, direct, unapportioned taxes on labor, otherwise known as the income tax. Congress is instructed to nullify the 16th Amendment, which was fraudulently ratified, and to repeal subtitles A and C of the Internal Revenue Code and end the withholding and collection of direct unapportioned taxes on labor.